What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Thursday, January 4th, 2024, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. So, we have some major breaking news coming in from the Middle East. We have multiple countries now asking their citizens to leave Lebanon. And yesterday I reported that Canada and Germany have instructed their citizens to leave Lebanon. And now today we have some more countries. We have Britain and Denmark officially asking their citizens to leave Lebanon. And the U.S. military targeted a logistics base of some Iranian proxies in Iraq. I want to summarize the leader of Hezbollah's speech yesterday, Nasrallah, and I have some other breaking news coming in from Asia. We have North Korea making more threats against the U.S. So I want to just first start with a very sad story here. So we have Garrett Illerbrun. He is a pilot with the U.S. Army's 82nd Airborne, and he suffered a severe head injury from shrapnel in a Christmas Day drone attack by Iran-backed Kataib Hezbollah when they launched that attack on the U.S. base in Erbil in northern Iraq. He is reportedly in a coma, so I'm asking you guys to keep him and his family in your prayers. Garrett Illerbrun, Lorna Illerbrun, and Tucker Illerbrun. And they set up a GoFundMe page. I'm going to leave a link to their GoFundMe, and they're going to use the money for bills, travel expenses, because his wife has to travel to Germany to visit him while he's in the hospital. And during the drone attack, a piece of shrapnel struck Garrett in the head, lodging from about his temple to almost the back end of his ear, hitting the motor function area of his brain. Garrett is currently still in a coma, but after an attempt to take off sedation, there was some response in facial movement, a beacon of hope for his recovery. Okay, so keep him in your prayers, guys. This is a very sad story, especially right on the holidays for this to happen on Christmas Day. Could you imagine your loved one having a piece of shrapnel lodged in their brain on Christmas Day? I mean, that is just absolutely sad. And, you know, what's even more sad is that the Biden administration is not doing anything about this, okay? Nothing, very little, okay? And that is just absolutely despicable. So I'm going to leave their GoFundMe in the comments section down below. I'm going to pin it as a comment if you want to donate something. Otherwise, if you don't want to donate anything, then just say a prayer and keep them in your prayers. I want to just mention something from yesterday in case you missed my update yesterday. So the U.S. put out a joint statement with multiple allies, basically giving a final warning to the Houthis, telling them that if they continue their attacks, that there will be consequences. If you want to read the full statement, I'll leave it in the comments section down below. I'll pin it as a comment, okay? But very serious. Let our message, I'll just read a little part of it to you. Let our message now be clear. We call for the immediate end of these illegal attacks and release of unlawfully detained vessels and crews. The Houthis will bear the responsibility of the consequences should they continue to threaten lives, the global economy, and free flow of commerce in the region's critical waterways. We remain committed to the international rules-based order and are determined to hold malign actors accountable for unlawful seizures and attacks. Okay, so basically any day now, the U.S. could launch a massive strike on Yemen, and I reported on Christmas Eve. I did an emergency alert on Christmas Eve because there was some breaking news that came out that the US and the UK were in the final stages of preparing for a massive strike on Yemen that would include hundreds of missiles being fired at pre-planned targets in western Yemen. And when I reported that, the source that I had said that they were going to release a statement within a few hours. It looks like they probably waited until after the holidays to release their statement. I guess they didn't want to stress people out over the holidays. And I'm glad that they're going to wait until after. And I'm actually glad that they waited, especially for our troops. I mean, our troops also want to have some holiday time. So it's good that they're going to do this attack after Christmas and New Year's. So I'm going to leave a link to this statement in the comments section if you want to read the whole thing, but it's basically a final warning. So any day, the US and various allies, probably dozens of allies, it says here 44 countries, okay, 44 countries, but this statement in particular mentions the United States, Australia, Bahrain, Belgium, Canada, Denmark, Germany, Italy, Japan, Netherlands, New Zealand, Singapore, and the UK. So at least these countries are going to be involved. And of course, we have Operation Prosperity Guardian, where there's over like 20 countries that sent their navy to the Red Sea, okay, and they should be there now or coming in as we speak, okay. So I expect a massive attack on Yemen very soon, and when that happens, I will be going live 24/7 as long as I have to cover that situation, because I do think it's going to be historic. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're getting notifications, so when I go live, you get notified on your phone or whatever device you're using, okay? Because when breaking news happens, it happens fast and unexpectedly, all right? We have this billboard that was set up in the capital of Iran today, and it says that revenge will be swift and it's coming soon. And this is in regards to the attack yesterday on the funeral service for Soleimani, or the 4th anniversary service for Soleimani. Soleimani was the general of the Iranian military that was taken out by a missile strike under the Trump administration. Okay, so this was a 4-year anniversary service. 2 bombs exploded, killing probably 100 people, injuring 2 to 3 times that. So now the Iranian government is vowing revenge, and they put up this billboard here saying revenge will be swift and it's coming soon. And here we have a travel advisory that was posted by the government of the United Kingdom. You can see here they updated it on January the 2nd. Latest update: addition of information about an explosion in Beirut's southern suburbs. The FCDO continues to advise against all travel to the whole of Lebanon. If you are currently in Lebanon, we encourage you to leave now while commercial options remain viable. That means that there's going to be a war coming to Lebanon. Okay, they wouldn't tell people to leave now while options remain available. Okay, so this is very, very serious, and obviously this is related to Israel's assassination of the number 2 leader of Hamas, al-Aruri. But also Hezbollah has been attacking northern Israel, and the Israeli government has said repeatedly that if the UN doesn't do anything about Hezbollah attacking the northern part of Israel, then they're going to have to go in and do something themselves. And Netanyahu said that they would turn Lebanon into Gaza, basically, turn the whole Lebanon into a pile of rubble. Okay, so it looks like Israel's getting ready to go in, because 250,000 Israelis had to move out of northern Israel, and they're still not where they used to be. Okay, they've evacuated from the border areas and resettled somewhere else, and there's entire towns just vacant. Just imagine if Canada started launching missiles into northern Minnesota or something, or whatever, northern Montana, and they had to evacuate that whole portion of the state. And, those people had to, let's say, go and live with family, or go into hotels. Okay. That's unacceptable. And Israel's not going to tolerate that for a long period of time. Okay. And what's even more unacceptable is how the U.S. continues to throw Israel under the bus under the Biden administration instead of backing up Israel and watching their back. I mean, we have the assets, guys. We have the assets to completely annihilate Hezbollah. We're just sitting back and letting Hezbollah pound Israel every single day. Every day they launch rockets at Israel, and we're just sitting back and doing nothing. We're going to be judged for that. Okay. God is not going to be happy. All right. Same thing with Yemen and, the Iranian proxies. We're not doing anything about it. Okay. Hardly anything at all. And here's the travel advisory from Canada, updated yesterday. And here's the travel advisory from Germany, updated today. And the U.S. military targeted a logistics base affiliated with the Iranian proxies in Iraq. And they're known as the Popular Mobilization Unit. And according to reports, 2 commanders who were present in this building were killed and several people injured. Want to just play this video for you. This is apparently footage of the actual strike. Okay, you can see this big cloud of smoke coming out. Okay, and ISIS has claimed responsibility for the attack in Iran yesterday. I don't know if I believe that, guys. Very hard to believe, but maybe it's true. The Supreme National Security Council of Iran convened an emergency meeting yesterday. And a U.S. official said that Biden held a meeting with his national security team recently to discuss options for dealing with the Houthis. And Israeli Channel 12, citing sources, said Israeli officials expressed alarm at Washington's decision to withdraw the aircraft carrier strike group from the Eastern Mediterranean at a time when hostilities in the region are expected to soon escalate. So I guess the Israeli officials told Washington, what are you guys doing? Why are you pulling out this aircraft carrier? We're going to need you. We're going to go into Lebanon. We're going to have escalations all over the place from Yemen, from Iran. And now you're pulling an aircraft carrier strike group out. It's just ridiculous, guys. It's so frustrating reading this news. What the Biden administration is doing it's just absolutely insane, guys. And multiple state capitals in the U.S. were evacuated on Wednesday morning after email bomb threats were received in states across the country. It was a mass email sent to several secretaries of state and state offices across the country, said Michonne Lindstrom, a spokesperson for the Kentucky Secretary of State office. A copy of an emailed threat obtained by CNN showed government offices in at least 23 states listed as recipients. The sender claimed to have placed explosives inside your state capital, although no specific state was mentioned in the email. It's not clear if other email threats were sent. The threat affected capital proceedings in Kentucky, Mississippi, Georgia, Connecticut, Michigan, and Minnesota. No states have reported finding any threatening items in those buildings. All right, so very concerning, guys. And a few weeks ago, the FBI, the DHS, and the National Counterterrorism Center issued a warning saying that there's an increased chance of terror attacks going through the winter, and especially as the war in the Middle East escalates, okay? So you guys need to be on high alert. Carry your self-defense tool with you wherever you go, as long as it's legal to do so, and make sure you're aware of your surroundings. Use your peripheral vision when you're out in public. Don't use tunnel vision. Most people use tunnel vision because they're focusing on one specific thing throughout their day. They want to catch a train or they want to catch a bus, and they're just focused on running to that doorway, and they don't know what's going on to the left and to the right. Okay, so use your peripheral vision. Practice using your peripheral vision. A good way to do that is hold your hand in front of your face and then stare at your hand and then move your hand to the side, to the right side or to the left side of your body, and try to continue to see your hand as you move it to your right side, okay, to your 3 o'clock. All right, so your hand is going to be at the 12 o'clock position, and you're going to start to move your hand towards the 3 o'clock and even the 4 o'clock position, and you'll be surprised how far you can see to the side. Okay, you should be able to at least see in the 3 o'clock position your hand. Okay, your hand in the 3 o'clock position, you should be able to see that, and just practice that. Get in the habit of using your peripheral vision. Okay, and this update was sponsored by Patriot Supply. Guys, Patriot Supply is doing a 25% off sale on their 4-week emergency food supply. And to get the deal, you have to go to preparewithNYPrepper.com. And again, that's 25% off of their 4-week emergency food supply. That's a $60 discount. And the food supply includes over 2,000 calories per day, up to a 25-year shelf life. It's packed into 2 rugged buckets and weighs 38 pounds total. Free shipping is included. And what's great about this is you have 4 weeks of food in just 2 buckets. You can easily put that anywhere. And if you have to bug out, you can easily throw that in your vehicle. Now, Patriot Supply also has a general store where they sell pretty much any prepping and survival related product you could imagine. To get to their general store, you have to go to the Patriot Supply logo at the top of the preparewithNYPrepper.com webpage. You click on that logo and it takes you to their general store, and you can see they have pretty much anything you could imagine. They have potassium iodide at a great price. I have a few of these. They also have survival bars, survival seeds, water filters, solar generators, anything you can imagine. So check out preparewithNYPrepper.com to get 25% off of the Patriot Supply 1-month emergency food supply. The link is in the description below this video. And the Israeli Chief of Staff, Herzi Halevi, toured the northern border of Israel on Wednesday and held several operational assessments with the heads of the Northern Command of the Israeli military. He said that this is now an opportunity to change the status quo of the security situation there. He did say some other things, that their readiness is at an all-time high, in fact, at a peak that they have not seen before. They are drawing up plans, both offensive and defensive, if Hezbollah were to strike first. All right, so pretty serious, guys. The Chief of Staff visiting the northern part of Israel. Okay, keep in mind that the main war is going on in Gaza right now. That's where the most intense activity is. So you would think the Chief of Staff would want to go there, but instead he goes to the northern part of Israel along the border with Lebanon to meet with his commanders there and get a feel for the situation. Okay, anytime a high-ranking figure like that wants to go on the ground for some reason, it means that they're planning something, okay? It's just like the CEO of a company, maybe the company you work for. Think about anytime there's a project at your company, the CEO will come out of the woodwork and physically go into the office to monitor the situation and get a feel for what's going on, okay? Because when you're in that position, you want to be able to physically see what's going on before you make your decision, okay? So the Chief of Staff wants to physically go there, see what's going on, talk to his men before making a final recommendation to Netanyahu, okay? And he says here that their readiness is at a peak and that now is an opportunity to change the status quo of the security situation. So that basically means that now is an opportunity to invade Lebanon and take out Hezbollah. That's basically what he's saying in a very polished way, okay? Hezbollah Secretary General Syed Hassan Nasrallah said on the assassination of al-Aruri that if Israel thinks that we are scared of the full-scale war and confrontation, they are mistaken. We are ready to go to all lengths and wage this war, and the enemy will deeply regret this decision. He then said, as we promised before the war, there will be a strong response to any assassination on Lebanese soil. I do not need to explain. The days and nights are between us. Keep your eyes on the battlefield. Okay, so strong words there coming from Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah. Okay, I'll read to you again what he said. If Israel thinks that we are scared of the full scale war and confrontation, they are mistaken. We are ready to go to all lengths and wage this war, and the enemy will deeply regret this decision. So it's not looking good, guys. It looks like the situation is going to continue to escalate. A war with us will be costly. If Israel starts a war with Lebanon, our fight will be without limits and ceilings. That's another thing that he said. He issued a stark warning to Israel amid escalating tensions. Nasrallah stated that Hezbollah is fully prepared for war and declared that if Israel initiates hostilities, the conflict will be without limits, ceilings, rules, or controls, warning that Israel will regret entering such a war. The Hezbollah leader accused Israel of orchestrating the assassination of Salih al-Aruri, describing it as blatant Israeli aggression. Nasrallah praised al-Aruri as a great jihadist leader who dedicated his youth to jihad and resistance. Touching on the conflict in the Gaza Strip, Nasrallah claimed that before the Operation Al-Aqsa flood, the Palestinian issue was on the verge of being forgotten. He asserted that the operation had significantly impacted Israel's global image. Nasrallah accused Israel of aiming to displace the population of Gaza, claiming that none of Israel's goals were achieved in the conflict. Nasrallah also addressed the recent explosions near the shrine of Quds Force commander Qassam Soleimani, attributing the tragedy to martyrs who shared Soleimani's goals. He claimed that members of the Quds Force cooperated with Hamas activists in the Gaza Strip. Nasrallah suggested that the current achievements in Gaza are the result of 2 decades of collaboration, with Soleimani playing a significant role. Okay, so this attack that Hamas pulled off on Israel was apparently planned for 2 decades, and Soleimani was involved. Okay, that means Iran was involved. And Reuters is reporting that 17 employees of Biden's re-election campaign warned in a letter that he would lose voters due to his position on the war between Israel and Gaza. So I don't know what that means, if that means that he's being too tough on Israel and he's throwing them under the bus, or if he's not supporting the Palestinians enough. And Vladimir Putin signed a decree granting Russian citizenship to foreign citizens who have entered into a contract for military service in the Russian armed forces or military formations and members of their families. So all you guys out there that love Putin so much and you want to become a Russian citizen, here is your chance, okay? And Russia is accusing Ukraine of firing 10 missiles at Crimea today. The official statement from the Russian government says on January 4th at about 5:20 p.m. Moscow time, an attempt by the Kyiv regime to carry out a terrorist attack using aircraft-guided missiles against objects on the territory of the Russian Federation was stopped. 10 Ukrainian missiles were destroyed over the Crimean Peninsula by air defense systems on duty. And 60 sorties of U.S. reconnaissance aircraft have been reported in December 2023, tracked by the Chinese PLA. Okay, so China is claiming that there's been at least 60 reconnaissance flights near China in December. Okay, so that tells you that the U.S. is concerned about some kind of war breaking out. And the Wall Street Journal is reporting that North Korea has started transferring short-range ballistic missiles to Russia. Russia is negotiating with Iran about buying ballistic missiles. The first batch of the delivery of ballistic missiles may take place this spring, but no deal has been made just yet. So Russia is looking for missiles, guys. They're asking North Korea. They're asking Iran. And I want to just read to you this article from Newsweek. Okay, North Korea issued another warning after the news broke yesterday, and I reported this news yesterday that South Korea just concluded live fire exercises around the Korean Peninsula. They did Army and Navy exercises, live fire, okay? North Korea has issued an ominous warning about the highest risk of clashes this year between the totalitarian state and its neighbor to the south, which could end in a nuclear strike, according to South Korean media. Yonhap News Agency, a major media outlet in Seoul, reported on Thursday that North Korean media condemned recent army artillery exercises and naval firing drills and exercises. The Korean Central News Agency, the state news agency of North Korea, said the exercises are self destructive and called South Koreans warmongers, according to Yonhap. There will be the highest risk of clashes this year as invading forces such as the United States and Japan will crawl into the peninsula under the South Korean puppet group's plea and active cooperation, and they will likely stage unprecedented, provocative war moves such as a nuclear strike, the KCNA said. South Korea's recent military exercises, which included naval exercises involving warships and aircraft, were conducted to strengthen its defense posture against North Korea's potential provocations, Yonhap reported. North Korean media warned that if South Korea continues its military exercises, it will face the most painful moments they cannot even imagine. According to Yonhap, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un called his country's relationship with South Korea two nations hostile to each other and ordered preparations for a great event to suppress the whole territory of South Korea if needed at a year-end ruling party meeting. South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol visited a frontline military unit in the eastern county of Yeoncheon in December and told troops to quickly retaliate if conflict arose from its neighbors to the north. I urge you to immediately and firmly crush the enemy's will for a provocation on the spot, Yoon said. Newsweek reached out to the South Korean embassy in the U.S. and North Korea's UN mission via email for comment. North Korea has also been preparing for conflict with the United States, according to the KCNA, which recently reported that Kim ordered the North Korean military, munitions industry, nuclear weapons sector, and civil defense sectors to accelerate war preparations amid what he called unprecedented confrontational moves by the U.S. Tensions have been growing between an already strained U.S.-North Korea relationship during Russia's war with Ukraine. So this is huge, guys. Okay, another threat from North Korea saying that the highest risk of clashes will be this year, and the U.S. stationed some kind of medium-range missile system near Korea. Okay, and they've moved nuclear bombers there. They have a carrier strike group there. So that's another war front that we have to keep an eye on. I want to read to you the list of elites that apparently visited Epstein's island. This is coming from the Epstein court document dump. So we have Alan Dershowitz, Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, Stephen Hawking, Al Gore, Leslie Waxner, Bill Richardson, Jean-Luc Brunel, Marvin Minsky, Michael Jackson, David Copperfield, Tom Pritzker, Glenn Dubin, Frederick Fekkai, Ehud Barak, Kevin Spacey, George Lucas, Naomi Campbell, Leonardo DiCaprio, Bruce Willis, and Kate Blanchett. Okay, and I don't think this is the full list. I'm going to continue to monitor this, but all these people named did visit Epstein's island at some point, and there are no specific allegations against Donald Trump doing anything weird at Epstein's island. And not all the people here did weird stuff there, but these are the people that actually visited his island. So as you guys can see, all these elites, they're all in it together, guys. Okay. We like to pick sides. We like to, support our favorite politician, but they're all in it together, guys. Okay. All of them, they're all in it together. It's all one big family. Okay. The Bilderbergs, the Freemasons, the Illuminati. Okay. Read about it and you'll see all these figures. Okay. The Clinton family, the Trump family, the Bushes. Okay. Gore, all these people, they're all elites. They're all Masons. They're all Bilderbergs. Okay. Putin is best friends with Klaus Schwab. Putin went to Klaus Schwab's School for Young Global Leaders. That's the same school that Macron and Justin Trudeau went to. Okay. So, I know a lot of people think some of their favorite leaders are fighting the New World Order and that they're champions for conservatism, but it's not always the case. Okay. It's all just one big game to divide people. So I want to just show you guys some flight paths from today. We have some activity in the Middle East. We have another US C5 Galaxy going down to the Middle East near the Sinai Peninsula. And the C5 Galaxy is a heavy lift plane. It can carry the most cargo of any plane in the US military. So it's like a super heavy cargo plane. And it went from Ramstein down to the Sinai Peninsula, Egypt area. We had that Italian Air Force plane leave Djibouti today, and it went back to Italy. Remember, yesterday I reported that there was an Italian Air Force plane that went down to Djibouti, which is right near the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, where all the ships have been attacked and where Operation Prosperity Guardian is taking place. So very interesting. We also have an aerial refueler and a C-130 active over Iraq right now. Here's a closer look at that C-130 and the aerial refueler. And here's a closer look at the C-5 and the Italian plane. This was in the afternoon today. We had a lot of reconnaissance activity in Eastern Europe and the Baltic region last night. Here we have two RC-135 rivet joints. We have one that flew along the border of Moldova and Romania. And then we have another one that flew around Kaliningrad and flew in northeastern Poland near the Suwalki Gap and along the border of Belarus and Poland. It also flew along Russia's Baltic Sea coast in Kaliningrad, and it flew up towards Estonia and along the border of Russia here near Narva, which is actually where Estonia placed anti-tank obstacles about 2 months ago. They put dragon's teeth in various places here. And here's a closer look at the RC-135 that flew up into Estonia here and flew around the Kaliningrad Oblast. Okay. And then here's a closer look at the one that flew along the border with Moldova. So that's the latest breaking news that I have. I will be back tonight with more breaking news, and I will be announcing the winners of the 100,000 subscriber giveaway tomorrow. I'm going to make a separate video about it, and I'm going to read off the winners, okay? So you still have time to enter. If you want to enter, you got to go to my community page, and you got to scroll down until you see 100,000 subscriber giveaway. You have to answer a question, and then you have to put the state where you live. So that's pretty much it for this one, guys. Take care. God bless. And don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.